viewers, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have been well. Today we're taking out the Beast 3.0. That's right, it's the KTM 1290 Superduke R. Let's go. Woo, baby. So you've got keyless ride system on here, guys, so push that button there. Ready to race. That's what you want to see. Nice. What a thumper. 1301cc. Woo! Right then, gang, so if you're not familiar with the format, and I know most of you are by now, but if you're not, all I'm going to do is literally 2 minutes down the road, just going to drive it down there, and I'm going to stop, we'll park up the bike, do a proper walk and talk of the bike, the features, the packs, the options, all the kind of stats. Then we go for a proper ride, put it into practice, and I'll let you know what I think. Let's go.
Excuse me, I'd like to get out of here, please.
Here cometh the Beast. And into the country roads we go. Yeah! Right, let's go. Bit of corner in, and then we'll stop. I'm barely using any throttle. She's an absolute animal. Wow. Right then, gang, I'm going to stop in a minute, but initial impressions, comfort's really good, quite a sporty position. Needless to say, the power is absolutely awesome, crazy amount of torque, and the fueling's really good as well. So I'm going to stop in a second, we're going to do a proper walk and talk, go through all the specs, all the options, give you a proper look around and poke at all the bits, and then we'll take it for a ride. I'll see you in a minute. All right then, gang, there she is, safely parked up. The awesome Beast 3.0, the KTM 1290 Superduke R. Now, for me personally, guys, I know this is not the new model in terms of it was last year, but for me this is brand new and it's my first time riding it. So we're going to go through all of the specs and all of the features, and just to give you a bit of an update as well. So for 2021 there were some minor changes. Of course it's now Euro 5, but you can barely see the difference on it. It still makes a really good noise, and you've got this kind of orange fleck on the rear wheel there as well. So yeah, minor changes for 21, but the majority of it happened in 2020. So 2020, they basically improved the fueling of the bike, they made it lighter, they made the frame up to 3 times stronger, I think it is. So you've got absolutely beautiful trellis frame there, which KTM are renowned for. It absolutely looks the part, it really does. Right, so coming on to the frame and probably the weight of the bike then. So the dry weight, according to KTM, is 189. So I guess all your fluids and fuel, you're probably looking at around, I don't know, 2.5, 210, somewhere around there. So it's not a particularly heavy machine, and I can assure you it feels crazy light when it's going, crazy light. And it truly was my first time riding this bike today. So it's quite a fairly short wheelbase. Obviously got single-sided swing arm there as well, but my word, she is crazy agile, really awesome. Right then, guys, so moving on to the front of the bike then, let's talk about the wheels, rubber and all the rest of it. So starting with the rubber then, you've got Bridgestone Battle Axe, and of course these are really cool. So these are the S22s, so you've got a huge amount of grip. Once they get up to temperature as well, they're really awesome, you know, especially for road use. You've got more than you could ever need. On track is probably where they're going to shine a bit better. In terms of stopping power then, you've got 320 disc at the front, you've got 240 at the rear, which I'll do a bit of a funky cut to. And in terms of the braking system then, this is Brembo Stylema, so really awesome brakes there, tried and tested. That's front rear setup on there as well, absolutely awesome. Now in terms of suspension then, you've got these massive chunky 48mm WP Apex fully adjustable forks at the front, and just swinging you around to the rear, and I might even do a bit of a funky edit in there. There's your WP Apex fully adjustable rear shock there as well. So you can really kind of tweak these. You've even got a high and low speed setting on there as well, but they are fully adjustable. In fact, if I show you in there, they're quite well tucked away, but here's where you can see your adjustment there as well. Now engine then, let's come on to that one before I go into electronics. So of course it probably needs no introduction, but I'm going to give it one anyway. So this is a whopping V-twin, so it's 1301cc, it's the LC8 motor from KTM, and it produces 180 or between 177 and 180 depending on where you kind of read, but either way a huge amount of horsepower. So let's just say 177, and in terms of torque, I think it's 1 Newton meter of torque down, probably because of Euro 5, but it's 140 Newton meters of torque, which from a V-twin is a disgusting amount of power. I mean, it's incredible fun, don't get me wrong, absolutely awesome. But my word, is it quick. I mean, out of corners, you barely need any throttle. And I'm not the fastest rider in the world, put my hand up to that, but this thing is exciting. It's very, very cool. What I found for it as well, and I know they tweaked it for the 2020 version, the fueling is very, very good as well. It's very precise, even when you get down to those lower RPMs, because again, not every bike's the kind of same. So you get really good fueling on this. It's very, very precise. Now, transmission wise, you probably can't see too much in there, but this is 6 speeds, obviously it's 1 down, 5 up. And this particular model here, we've got the quick shifter on there. Now, the quick shifter, although it is basically electronic enhancements on the KTMs, it's basically like 360 quid for a quick shifter. And you've got a few different packs to choose from in terms of your options for this bike. But let's just start with perhaps the pricing to begin with. So it's 15,750 quid basically in the UK. That's your kind of starting price. And I'm going to put these packs up on the screen so you can see them as we're going through it. But basically you can add MSR, so you can control your slip regulation on there. You can add a quick shifter, you can add a track pack as well. You can also add a tech pack. Now, the track pack basically gives you what it sounds like. So you've got a track mode, you can adjust slip regulation, you can adjust the power modes on there as well. Of course, the quick shifter needs no introduction, you know what that is, and MSR, you know, can be controlled separately as well. But what you're best off doing, in my opinion, is just buying the tech pack. The tech pack's like 890 quid, I think it is, give or take, something like that. I'll put it on the screen, but basically you're looking at a 16,500 bike, which is in its true form. So if you go for the tech pack, you get all of those other bits within it. So it's just the one pack that you need. You do get cruise controller standard on there, which is pretty cool. And in terms of lighting then, and I'll do some cuts to it because I took some pictures, but these are of course all LED, and you've got these LED running lights here, which are really cool. And I don't know how well it's going to come out on the film, but through here, you've got that awesome ram air unit there. And I can assure you, when this thing is going, it is a beast. It really does live up to its name. You get an awesome induction roar from there. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah, so there is thunder in the background, so we're probably going to get tipped on in a minute. I hope not, so I'm going to try and get this done. But yeah, seating wise, it's really comfortable. It's actually quite wide. It's a nice material. Seat height is 835. Now, of course, you've got options for this, but in terms of its stance, you know, it's great. And it's really easy to actually get on the bike. It's not like a sports tourer where you've got massive stuff on the back. Really easy to get onto. Right, moving on to some of the controls then. So I do really like the KTM switchgear. It's got a great feel to it. It's, you know, it's nicely put together. This model, like I said, it's got cruise control. So you activate that here, and then you set it just at the front, and then you can resume from here. And obviously you can go up and down as required. Switchgear is easy to use. The indicators here, I mean, yeah, it works fine. They do self-cancel, I think, after about 10 seconds. And then you can go into your menu system through here. I'll show you that in a second, by the way. On this side then, up here, you've got customizable buttons, which are really cool. So you can set 2 different things up here. So for example, you might want to turn off traction control, and you could have that touch of a button there. Or you might want to switch your rider modes, which is what we've done. So I'm going to show you that in a cut. But you basically push this button, and then it will pop up, and then you can actually just run through the modes, select it. You do have to close the throttle, and then it will set, but doing it here on the fly is very, very cool. Of course, you've got ride-by-wire throttle on there as well. There's your hazards. This here is your lock and unlock, because it is basically a keyless ride system. So you push that, and I'll do it in a second, but everything comes to life. There's your ignition on there. With the unlock as well, you just need to have a key in your pocket. If you push that, you can do this twice, and then it will just come up. But beautiful TFT as well. So I'm just going to show you this. Ready to race. Yeah, buddy. So yeah, great system there. Of course it's going to say kill switch because I haven't set it up at the moment, but there we are. Now it's a bit happier. I just want to show you something really quickly. We won't go into a full deep dive on the system, but basically use this here, push across, and then it's going to come up. So you've got your trips data, riding modes, motorcycle information. I'm going to dip in and out. So riding modes, motorcycle, so you can do traction control on or off. ABS, you've got Supermoto mode there, quick shifter, you can activate it manually, dipping back out, settings, yeah, obviously Bluetooth and all the rest of it. So I won't do a full deep dive today because quite frankly, I don't want to get tipped on. I want us to do this, but the system works really well. The screen is great, it's bright, vibrant, it's very responsive. It auto switches between day and night mode, so if it gets really dark, you'll see this come up with a beautiful orange glow, but it's really awesome. Just going through the screen as well then, so of course you've got your gear indicator, you've got warnings up here, so you've got ignition, traction control, ABS, you name it, tachometer, speed, fuel gauge, and then over here, if I just push up on this, there we go, you can create a kind of a bit of a custom mode, so you've got all temperature, fuel gauge, push it again, odometer, all temperature, and outside temperature. So yeah, pretty cool. You can go back, in fact, yeah, it's that one, push that one, and she goes back to normal. So very, very cool. I just want to do a start up and give you that kind of walk around sound check. Clutch in. Woo! Now she is warm because I've brought her over, so don't worry about that. But listen to this. Yeah, what a beast. But did you hear that awesome induction roar as well? It's just sucking in tons of air. And even though it's a Euro 5, it still sounds pretty decent. Although of course you can get a ton of aftermarket setups with it as well, cans, full systems, you name it. Whether you need that or not, it's entirely up to you, because when it's going, and you'll hear it in a minute properly when we do this ride, she sounds absolutely awesome. For a stock machine out of the factory, you know, what a soundtrack. It's absolutely beautiful. Right then gang, that's the walk around done. I'm going to try and beat the storm back. And if there's any bike to get us there on time and out of the way, it's got to be this one. So I hope you enjoyed the walk around. Any questions, let me know in the comments section. I'll flash up some bits as we go. But other than that, let's go. Alrighty. She's alive! The beast is alive! Right, let's get the fudge out of Rog before it rains. Woohoo! Oh, that noise, yes. Now I took out the Super Adventure S, and that was my first kind of proper introduction to the KTM brand, you know, completely honest, hands up. And what an absolutely epic machine that was. But this already, just listen to it. That is naughty. So just quickly, let's just mention some of its competitors, because it is fair if we're doing a bit of a comparison. So of course you've got the Street Fighter V4S, which, let's be honest, you know, yes, according to the figures, it's the most powerful. You've got the Kawasaki ZH2 as well, that's very much in the running. Aprilia Tuono as well. I haven't ridden that bike, so I really can't say too much about it, but obviously I'd like to in the future. But it obviously gets loads and loads of praise. And then of course here we are, we've got the Superduke R, which some would say is the ultimate street stroke track machine, because in that group then, just taking those as an example, a bit of a snippet, the ZH2, although yes, it's got a supercharger, it's probably a lot more relaxed, and I've been on that bike. The riding position's definitely not as focused as this one. This one's a bit more arse up, not chin down, but it is definitely a bit more, you're leaning on the front. Of course the Street Fighter is yeah, it's very much a sporty machine as well, and the Tuono, yeah, it's kind of in between the two. But this bike combines not only the power, but it's also got, you know, lightness on its side as well. It's extremely flickable. I think on a track this would hold its own against many of them, and I think bikes like the ZH2, due to its extra weight and possibly its suspension setup, would be left behind. These kind of bikes would run rings around those. But it does literally depend on what you want it for as well, because if you want to go fast in a straight line, the ZH2 is very difficult to beat, and there's many videos showing that kind of does beat this only just. But in the real world, where are you ever going to use that kind of power? You probably aren't. Where this shines is because of its V-twin engine and the huge amount of power and torque that it's got. It can put the power down in real world situations a lot easier, because you've got so much power. You don't need to be wringing its neck to get the enjoyment out of it. You can just power out of a corner, and I'm not even kidding you, that was like a quarter throttle. It's got so much grunt. I'm not going to lie, I'm almost afraid to give this anywhere near full power. I really am, because it's got so much. I mean, 180 brake pretty much, and 140 newton meters of torque. This machine absolutely destroys everyday riding with ease. And not only, of course, does it have a huge amount of torque to load down, but she will pull and pull and pull all the way up to the red line. And red line's basically 11,000 RPM on this machine, but she will just keep pulling. And let's be honest, on the road that we're going to be doing today, on these roads, we're just not going to have the opportunity to go that quick. There is a national speed limit section a bit further up, and yeah, I'll make sure I hold back and give it some beans. Don't you worry about that. So we're coming to Sharpthorne here. Oh, goodness. Let's get down to that 30. Because we want to simulate a little bit of town riding. I think I can probably drop an extra gear actually. There we go, put it in seconds. Because the gearing is actually quite tall on this. I wanted to demonstrate what it would be like in a kind of city type environment, because we're going to get out at these lower speeds. We're going to be letting Tesco lorries out and other bits and bobs. But I just wanted to show you how well behaved it is. Even though it's got all of that power and all of that grunt, it works for it rather than against it, because it is ride by wire. And look, if I want to just maintain my speed, there's no hopping around. The bike isn't jumping at me to say go, go, go. It's just doing it with ease. So could you commute on this? Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a hell of a ride. But yeah, absolutely you can commute on this. It's very easy. It's not actually as an aggressive position as I thought it would be in terms of, you know, seat and foot pegs. It's definitely on the more sporty side, and you could absolutely take this to a track. But just doing day-to-day riding like we are now, through a city type environment, lower speeds, it handles it brilliantly. Nice Scooby. I mentioned the switchgear being really good, and it is actually. It's one of the better systems that I've used. I think KTM have pretty much got it nailed. I don't think you've got illuminated switchgear on this one. You do on the Super Adventure, but not on this. Is it a deal breaker? No, because I think you've got it on that side, just not here. But it is actually really, really good. I do like the system. The system is brilliant actually. That again is very, very good. We might do a deeper dive on it in the future, but for now I wanted to make sure we get the ride done before we get tipped on. So yeah, town riding then, very comfortable. In fact, yeah, I could actually ride this bike already, I can tell you, pretty much all day with no drama. It is more sporty than some, but it's not super sport uncomfortable. Some of these new naked bikes, they basically are you know, a super bike without the fairings on, and this is not that. You know, it's designed to be an absolute beast of the Supernaked, and it does it really, really well, and in style as well. And I know the looks are going to be subjective. I know the lights aren't for everybody's liking, and the colours can be a bit leery, of which of course you can get it in the black colour scheme as well, but the orange is very, very, very popular. But yeah, I think it's absolutely superb. But this bike is definitely at its happiest when you start twisting the throttle a little bit, because certainly above 40 she becomes so agile, and I really mean that, super, super agile. And we're not even going to show you half of what this bike can do today, but it's so, so light. When you compare it to things like the ZH2, that bike is 239 kg fueled, and this is probably at the top end, even pushing it, maybe 210 fully fueled, and that's a fairly significant difference. So if you're after the cutting edge in terms of performance, and you want something which is also well behaved on the road, but you can absolutely just roll it straight onto a track, then this should be on your shortlist. If you're looking for more of a road type bike, I don't know, maybe more like a ZH2. And of course you've got the Tuono and you've also got the Street Fighter as well, and I think it is just going to come down to preference. The best thing you can do with any of these is try a couple out, of course, see which one kind of fits you better. But for me personally, I'm actually very surprised at how easy this is to ride. But with minimal input on that throttle, she absolutely rips. Let me just show you something quickly, because we're going to stop here. See that button I told you about? If I just push that now, there we go. So we can switch a mode. So there you've got your street mode and your rain mode. And if I just do it just for the sake of doing this, select it, close the throttle, there you go, it's done it. So now we're in a reduced power mode where it's a lot more forgiving. I'm going to change it back because it's not what I want. Boom. There we go, back in sport. Push the back button. Job did. See how easy is that though? And you can obviously have things like traction control there if you wanted to, or you can look at your slip. Yeah, so you want to manage the MSR system, you could do that from there as well. Oh man, that's literally like the tiniest amount of acceleration. I can't wait for this national bit up here in a minute, because I'm going to give it the beans. Not to its true potential beans, but I'm going to give it the beans. And then there is a little bit of dual carriageway as well, so again I'll give it some beans there. But gosh, I'll tell you what, she's so agile, really nimble. I can see the appeal of it now, and it is, for me, this is the first time riding this machine, right? So I haven't done reviews on the other ones, this is the first time. Yeah, really pleasantly surprised with it. It's got a ton of equipment, hasn't it, really, let's be honest. The suspension's brilliant, and obviously you can tweak it. Of course as well, you've got steering damper on there. But me, just for a bit of reference then, I'm 6'4", I'm a big guy, you know, 21 stone. I'm working on it. But for me to just be able to jump onto this and be comfortable is quite a feat, because of course my legs are fairly long. But yeah, it is really easy to get on with. And the beauty of this machine in comparison to those kind of supercharged variants, I guess, is that with this you don't need to kind of have a forced induction unit to get power. It's there pretty much straight away. But of course twins might not be to everybody's liking as well, because you know it might be a little bit more vibey and raucous than perhaps the Kawasaki. So each to their own, and as I say, the best thing you can do is give it a whirl if you're in the market. But in terms of my advice for buying, just make sure you get the one with the tech pack. If you get the tech pack, you literally, quite literally, have all of the toys, because you wouldn't want to buy a bike like this and not have the quick shifter for sure. And even just adding that's like 360 quid, so there's just no point. Just go for a tech pack, you've got all the gadgets, job done. And then if you want to go to a track, obviously you've got performance mode, so you can customize absolutely everything. For roads, you've got adaptive braking on there as well, you've got your MSR slip unit and adjustment. Alright, this is at Nationals, guys. Little bit. And it was only a little bit. I'm too much of a chicken to give it full beans. That was probably quarter. I mean, of course we've got to adhere to the limits and bits as well, but what I would give to take one of these on a track, honestly, this thing would be absolutely epic. But she is an absolute beauty. Bit more corner in. Oh, it's just effortless, guys. And she is laser focused, scalpel precision, and the grip you get from those Bridgestone Bataraks. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, this is a true precision machine. I don't want to go as far as to say it'd be wasted on the roads. I just think it would be great if it's in the hands of somebody that's going to use it on a track as well, because I think it will really shine on a track. But what an absolute thumper on the road. but even at lower speeds she's just so well behaved. But that thunderous soundtrack that you get from it is just addictive. Wow. Wow. Yeah, absolutely cracking machine, guys. Really, really good. Now, just covering a bit of the electronics before we get back then, guys. Of course, it's got a 6-axis IMU, so it's lean sensitive, and it works with the traction control, it works with the ABS systems, those awesome Brembo Stylema calipers as well. I mean, the brakes as a whole, yeah, absolutely awesome. Tried and tested, so in my humble hands, I'm not exactly going to push it to the limits, but rest assured, they are really, really cool. And like I mentioned, you can adjust things like the ABS, you can adjust things like your wheelie control as well. But those things, a lot of them are tied behind the electronic gates. So again, it's another reason why you want to get the tech pack, which comes with things like the track pack included, so that you can fully unrestrict your ride. Because if you want to be a bit of a hooligan, and we all do from time to time, you'll need to switch off some of those things. So in terms of things like the clutch and the feel of the gearbox, then it is, of course, you know, very well dialed in. This isn't the first iteration of this bike, this is the Gen 3, and I think they've just got it so right. The clutch action, the gearbox, the quick shifter, very, very precise. And it's something that just needs to be tried out just to see how you find it. But I get to try a few bikes, and yeah, it's definitely up there, very much on point. No weird jerkiness between gears, which some bikes can develop. Just absolutely precise. And as I say, it's almost a shame that I can't test this bike anywhere near its potential, because it is absolutely incredible. Right, let's just do a bit of a summary of this machine then. So, brake setup, absolutely awesome, Brembo Stylema. Suspension wise, WP Apex, fully adjustable, and it is absolutely incredible. Fully adjustable setup, and you could really dial this in to make it your own. Not just for road, but also for track. I mean, you know, they're such a proven unit, absolutely brilliant. Comfort of the seat, yeah, it's actually a lot better than I thought. Each to their own on that. I think it's something you're just going to have to try. Position of the foot pegs was really good, even for a tall rider. The overall feel of it is quite sporty, but not uncomfortable. The system is brilliant, and again, it's something you're going to have to try and see if you get on with it. But the switchgear works really well, and overall, I just think it's awesome. It's a very competitive machine, and the engine and torque that it produces, oh, absolutely stunning. And again, it's something you're going to have to try if you're in the market, because, you know, twins might not be for you. They are a little bit different. I don't think there's much you're not going to like about it. It makes you grin from ear to ear, and I think, yeah, there's not much more you can ask from a bike than what this delivers. It's just whether it's going to be for you, it's going to be, you know, to your preferences. But definitely try one out if you're in the market. But I think it is absolutely incredible. So we're back at P&H now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and if you've got any bikes that you want to see next, can you let me know what it is? And as always, guys, thank you so much. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.